At this time, I'll open the floor for a public forum. If you'd like to say something to the governing body, please state your name, your address, and keep it short. Nobody? Phil? Nothing? Okay, thank you. Public forum is closed. Acceptance of agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Awards. Rick Landers will start with this part of it. I'm sorry.
Ethan, you get to come up here. So I get the pleasure of recognizing and celebrating a significant milestone in the career of a dedicated team member, Ethan Hayworth. Today, we honor Ethan for his remarkable 10-year commitment to our city, a journey that began long before he became full-time. He worked for us, I learned today, exactly 3 years as a seasonal every summer. He did this while he was attending college and playing football. He demonstrated an incredible work ethic and dedication that laid a solid foundation for his career. His commitment was evident even then as he seamlessly balanced demands of both academic and athletic pursuits and his responsibilities at work. He's kind of a big, silent type kind of guy. He doesn't talk a lot. So we'll see if he has anything to say at the end of this. I'm guessing not. He may be a man of a few words, but his actions speak volumes. He consistently brings a positive attitude and a cheerful demeanor to the workplace, making him a joy to be around. His colleagues would attest that he's a good mood and is contagious, and his easygoing nature makes him a valued team player. Over the years, Ethan has diligently worked his way up to become a Class 2 operator. His commitment to professional growth is commendable. He's working towards his Class 3 wastewater certification. His dedication to excellence reflects in his unwavering commitment to his community of Andover and his team that he works with. Ethan, your 10 years of service has been marked by hard work, integrity, and an ever-present positive spirit. Your journey is a testament to what can be achieved with dedication and perseverance. We are proud to have you as a part of our team, and we look forward to many more years working with you. I would also like to say that, as Ethan's age, it's not often we have someone with his age that's got 10 years in employment somewhere. That means a lot. We gain a lot from that institutional knowledge that he brings to us by being here for that long. So if you please join me in congratulating Ethan on his well-deserved 10-year employment award. Thank you, Ethan, for your dedication and for being a valuable team member.
All right. Next, we have Chief Russell going to do a presentation.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very excited tonight to be here to speak to you about Captain Chad Cheslick. Come on up if you would, Cap. So I want to start by saying thank you so much to Robin and the girls for being here. This is a testament to the support that, I'm sorry, I should have talked about the girls. Nobody listen, I'm not talking about the girls. Thank you so much to the family. You guys are always there for Chad when he needs you, and you share him with us, our entire community. And it is beyond measure that you do so much. So thank you very much for your dedication for 15 years. Thank you so much. Chad started with us as a reserve in 2006, and he was hired as a career firefighter in 2009. I came here in 14, so he had been on 5 years when I started. And we developed a quick relationship. Chad's super easy to get along with. He has a great sense of humor. And he has a lot of the same work traits that I do. I really expect a lot out of the people around me and myself, and he does as well. So he and I both get along really well in that regard. He's received many awards. I certainly won't go through the entire list because we would be here all evening, but he's been the Firefighter of the Year. He's received the Tenzenga Leadership Award. I want to pause there real quickly. That leadership award is completely decided by the firefighters around him. So he's been the recipient of that. He's gotten the Big Four award. That is a very special award that we do internally. He's been the recipient of that. He leads up with coaching and feedback, which I really appreciate. And what I mean by that is he is happy to come into my office and say, "Hey, Chief, I don't think you're doing this right." And that's very absolutely vital for the success of our organization. And he has to have guts enough to do that. I try to be easy to talk to, but we're all people, and he's willing to take the risk that someday I might be a jerk about that. I've never, ever been that way, but someday I might, somewhere in the future. And I thank him very much for having the guts to do that. It's to the betterment of our fire department and our community. I mentioned that he has high expectations. I was speaking to you a couple of quarters ago about another firefighter another captain actually, who I told you was really strict about how the hose is loaded on the truck. All those fire hoses has to be just perfect. And I told you that guy was an absolute critic and very hard to please. And he was really known as the hose load critic. Well, this guy's the OG. So the other guy learned it from him. He started it all. So thank you so much for your expectation of perfection when it comes to the really important things. I would not try to list what Chad is involved in because he does so much for our fire department. But I will say one of the things that he does that is an absolute invaluable resource for us is he can fix just about anything. And so he does a lot of work on maintenance on everything, but mostly on your fleet. So there's a story that you probably have heard before, but just a real quick one. We had a seat broken on a fire truck, and I don't remember what the exact numbers were, but the number to get that seat was thousands of dollars. So Chad does a little bit of research and figures out he can buy the part for like $75. It took him an hour to swap it out, saved us thousands of dollars by doing that. That's one story out of many, many, many. I'm not going to share them all, but I do have another one. He never shies away from a difficult task. You've seen the big hoses that are the big yellow hose that's up on the back of the fire truck. You can imagine how heavy those are. There's almost 1,000 foot of that fire hose up there, and it is a real pain. We don't mind getting it off there when there's a building on fire, but other than that, that stuff needs to stay up there because it's a lot of work. So yesterday, actually, he came to me and said, "Hey, we've got a problem with the tank, the water tank that's underneath that hose." Any other firefighter, any place ever, including this one, would have said, we need a mechanic to check that out. Chad comes in and says, we're going to unload that hose, which means they're going to have to load it all back. We're going to tear into that, and we're going to find out what's wrong. So that's what he and his crew did yesterday. They unloaded the hose, took pictures of all the problems. He himself contacted the manufacturer to take advantage of the lifetime warranty. They put the truck back together and then loaded all the hose back. This is the kind of guy he is. He's leading a crew of absolute excellence. He was involved. His crew did the station tables. If you've seen the custom station tables, he and his crew did that. If you haven't seen them, go by one of your firehouses and take a look. They're absolutely amazing. And then one last story about maintenance type stuff. You have 2 tender trucks. They carry water. They do a decent job of what they're doing. They're on Freightliner chassis and they're running just fine. But the fire part is old. It's worn out. As a matter of fact, worn out so badly that a couple of years ago, they completely quit. We could not get water off them by using a pump. So what does this guy do? Well, we can't just come up with $400,000+ to buy a new truck. So he says, why don't we build our own? So he literally led his crew to go get the metal, to go get the parts, to completely rebuild, completely redesign and put on a brand new pump. It's a completely different system than the way it was built, and it's been running ever since. And because of what he did, we were able to get the other one done as well. He works to be ready and keep his crew ready. And in my opinion, his crowning achievement throughout his career has been last year a Tom McGoy Award from Kansas State Fire Marshal's Office, where he led his crew to give an elderly woman an opportunity at life and save an elderly man's life. This is the type of fire captain you have working for you for the last 15 years. Thank you so much for all you've done for us, Captain Cheslick. He's not allowed to talk.
I ran into somebody the other day that looks exactly like him. And he told me how high the expectations are from a guy named Chief Russell. So I don't want to name no names. Thank you for your service, sir. All right, onward and upward. Presentations, 8-1 Municipal Golf Course first quarter report. Dick Stunts. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, and you?
Good.
Good. I'll keep it brief as I normally do. If you got my report on the first quarter, and things went very well for the first quarter. We had about the same number of play days we did a year ago. That is openings due to weather. And our rounds exceeded by 10% over a year ago, and our cart ridership went up 25%. So those are both very good indicators that, again, we're starting to build and continuing to build the business there at the golf course. If you read the report, you'll notice that our biggest challenge at this point in time continues to be our irrigation system. It is mostly original, and we just thought for the first couple of years that I was here that maybe we just had a few weak spots, and once we got those kind of shored up, we'd be ready to go. Well, last year taught us that that was not the case. And so working closely with Rick, we kind of shifted gears on how we're going to approach the irrigation system repairs and replacements, et cetera, and are looking at a somewhat more comprehensive approach to that, which would mean main lines, because we thought maybe the main lines would be something that could go forward for a number of years. Not the case. We simply got a lesson last year a couple different times, as well as this year. So anyway, working with Rick, we've got some plans in place, and you'll be hearing from him, I'm assuming, quite soon, as well as the pump station. We had some issues with the pump station, and so those are on the list, and you'll be hearing from Rick, staff, and myself in the near future. The one other thing I'd mention is I pledged to try and improve the turf quality of the fairways, but the irrigation system has just simply taken precedence over spending a lot of money on seed, et cetera. But I wanted to get the process started. So 2 weeks ago, we seeded the front half fairway of number 4 with Zenith zoysia grass. That's the preferred turf that I want on that golf course, and I'm committed to getting it. But this is the first step. This is a trial. And wouldn't you know, we get it down, what happened first? The irrigation system quit working. So we're off to a left-footed start. But anyway, I just wanted to let you know that process is underway. I am confident that by the end of the growing season, or even earlier than that we'll have a sample of what the Zenith zoysia can do for us. And I'm looking very much forward to that. I've done this at a couple other golf courses and had great success with it. So that's kind of looking forward, of course, beyond the first quarter. With that, I'd entertain any questions you might have. The usual
Anyone?
number.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Sir, appreciate you. KTA presentation, Go Cashless with KTA. How you doing tonight?
Mayor, Council, I appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of you tonight. I'm Steve Hewitt. I'm the CEO of the Kansas Turnpike. I think I need an award as well. I just became 10 years at KTA this June, so I'm excited about that. So, nobody brought me anything, darn it. Okay, but anyway, nevertheless, seriously, we are really excited. I appreciate you letting me crash your meeting tonight to give you an update on cashless tolling with your residents. It's going to truly affect Andover, hopefully in a positive way. And so we want to give you that update. So quick couple slides, and I'm going to go backwards before we go forwards a little bit so you understand why we ended up with cashless tolling, why we're going there, and excited to roll this out. One obvious fact we always like to talk about is Kansas Turnpike, created by the legislature nearly 70 years ago. However, though, we don't accept any tax dollars. I don't take state dollars. I don't take local dollars. I don't take federal dollars. We live and die by the tolls. So as a business, and our mission is provide a safe, reliable system that's based on customer values and expectations, that we meet the customer needs and to help Kansas. And so I have to earn the business of our customers. And so we're working really hard to provide. We've done a lot of things. 10 years ago, we really dove into, strategic planning. And when I took over, to make sure we want to make a better system, a safer system, to do more, and really take a look at what we were doing and making sure we were listening to our customers. And so came up cashless tolling, and customers began to talk to us a lot. In fact, we do a number of surveys each year. And when I talk about surveys and feedback from surveys, I used to be in municipal government, so I understand sometimes people don't look at these things, don't give us feedback, so we might get a couple hundred surveys back. In fact, from our customers, last year alone, we received 38,000 surveys back. 85% of those surveys said they like cashless tolling. They like that direction because they've been in other states. I want to be able to move around. I don't want to have to stop and slow down. Just let me move and go, get rid of these booths. And so we listened to that. And then 95% of our customers said, we love KTA as a whole, what you do for Kansas. But you had to understand why. So was it the right time? And customers are asking one thing, but let's take a hard look at this. We really dove into this. And 5 years ago, we made the call, let's go in 2025. Our plan is to go cashless tolling. So the first thing, as I mentioned, our mission is safety. So when you have items in the roadway that force you to stop, that's not the safest road you can offer. So listen, the toll booths are there for a reason, but technology has advanced. And so we now have that opportunity to begin to look and remove those toll booths. I mentioned customer service. We need to listen. We need to talk to our customers. They've been traveling, and commercial traffic doesn't want to stop. Nobody wants to stop. It's not safe. It's not good for the environment. It's not good for anyone. But then we had to look at ourselves. But what was the timing from a standpoint? Just because customers want it, when do we make the move? We know it's safer. But it was really good timing because standpoint, we looked at our staff. And the first thing we looked at our staff, and I've got great toll collectors, and they have been the gatekeeper of our revenue for nearly 70 years. But we did some research, and we knew 5 years ago that by 2025, 75% of these folks would be a retirement age. It was the right time. So we put a workforce transition plan in place, begin to give them job training if they didn't want to retire, job shadowing, continuing education. And I'm excited to say that of the 160 plus full-time collectors, I just have 3 that don't know what they're going to do yet. And I still have hopes that between our HR team, we find them a place and figure out what they would. They may just want to go out and just do something different and they'll figure it out. But we're trying our best to make sure they take care of our employees. So the aging workforce, it was right time, as well as we needed to make some upgrades in the lane with the toll technology. It was outdated. We needed to make some changes, but we didn't want to go back to a subpar system that was traditional tolling. It really wasn't what customers wanted. So clearly that made it an easy choice. And then efficiency. So when I talk about efficiency, it's cheaper for us to collect a K-tag toll than it is a non-K-tag toll, a cash toll. And so, for example, when I took over 10 years ago, 40% of my customers had a K-tag. Today, over 70% and growing each month. People want to move. They want to move quicker. It's cheaper. We pass that savings on to our customers, and that's why we're moving in this direction. So some basic facts. July 1st at 12:01, we will go cashless. So we will be in the booth. We will be there putting signs up right now. You've seen the signs out there. You see the gantries out there. We are getting ready to go. We'll have staff ready to go to keep people moving. The message will happen. So we're going to keep people moving. And here's how it works. Real simple. If you have a K-tag, I hope you do. If you don't, Melody, my assistant here, will make sure we get you a K-tag before I leave. But it's the safest way. It's the easiest way. It's the most efficient way. It's the cheapest way. And I'm excited to say that when we roll this out July 1st, we have a whole new toll structure coming. And if you know our old toll structure, it was a bit hodgepodge. Over the years, it's kind of morphed into minimums and rounding and different things. We wanted to simplify it. So we're going to simplify it come July 1st. It'll be a per mile cost. It'll be for passenger vehicles, 4.8 cents a mile. For basic trucks, our class 5 will be 13.8 cents a mile. Why even say that? Because those will now be the lowest cashless toll rates in the country, and simplistic. Easy to go on our website, do a calculator. I'm going from mile marker, let's say 50 from Wichita to 127 in Emporia. Do the math, round up to the next penny. It's real simple math, the lowest, cheapest tolls. And that's because it's really cheap for me to collect that toll. So efficiency is important. We want to pass the savings on. We want to look at the future to keep tolls low. We have a very affordable system. We've got a really good, high quality system. To maintain that at that level, this is part of that program. One thing I want to mention, so driveks.com. DriveKS is our new online portal system. So all your information is one-stop shop. So all your K-Tech information go there. And if you're a K-Tech customer, I told you nothing's going to change. You're going to see all these big gantries. You've probably seen them on the roadway. So what basically, instead of the toll booths, every time you go through a gantry, you've gone through a mile marker to another mile marker based on the exits or the entry plazas. And so that mile marker is a zone, and you'll see that per mile marker in your bill. So I went through this many zones. So instead of one trip from here to Emporia, I now went through 8 different zones between here and Emporia. But the math is real simplistic. There's no it's just rounding up to the nearest penny, but there's no minimums and different things. Real easy. But we're really excited about to roll that out. And K-Tag is important because if you don't have a K-Tag, it's still going to be easy, but we're going to double your tolls. Once you get a K-Tag. I want to say also that with those non-K-Tags, 50% of our traffic comes from out of state. So a lot of out-of-staters are helping pay for the Kansas Turnpike, which is important. But we want you to get you a K-Tag. But if you don't have a K-Tag, don't sweat it. Don't worry. Say, I'm on the Kansas Turnpike 1 or 2 times a year. I don't want to hassle with a K-Tag. I don't want to give you my account information. Not a problem. What you're seeing, you saw those readers on those gantries, also cameras front and back plates. I take a picture of your license plate, your car. I look at the registration through the Kansas system or other states we have agreements with. I send you a bill in the mail. Simple as that. You got 30 days. Once you get the bill, you got 30 days to pay. If you don't pay in 30 days, like utilities, we'll put a late fee on it. Simple stuff like that. But that's simple as going to be. So you're no longer a violator. So if you didn't have a K-Tag, you went the wrong lane, got a violation in the mail, that goes away. You're going to pay twice as much in tolls, but with the lowest tolls in the country, that's still a pretty good price. So if you don't want to get a K-Tag, that's fine. I still want your money. I still need the money to pay for everything. But it's a real simple way of doing things. We're excited about rolling that out, the one-stop shop. But again, that DriveKS is important because if you have a company, commercial, personal, I can manage all my information there. I pull reports down for IRS or information for my company, reimbursement. I can do anything I need to challenge tolls if I wasn't sure it was me or not. All the information is going to be right there, as well as rental car information. I get a rental car. So what's nice about that, go to the rental car, get the tag number, put it in there, say, hey, I've got this rental car, ABC 123, I have from this date to this date. That way you get the best toll rate possible, to worry about getting the higher toll rates. That's important. But again, working with rental companies, they may already have a tag in there, so there may be something like that. But everything you need to do is going to be at driveks.com. But don't worry about it. If you go to my K-Tag, it's going to roll into this one, so you'll see the new website. But I just want to push that out and do that. So DriveKS, I mentioned that, and really, I want to just tell you we're here to help. So I have 3 call centers in Kansas: Wichita, Topeka, Lawrence. I'm hiring more call center folks. A lot of them are toll collectors. They're just collecting tolls in a different way. Kansans talking to Kansans. We don't send anything overseas. So you're talking to a Kansan. We're here to help you. We've got our DriveKS app will go out July 1st. Our website rolls out. I've got someone to help you on if you want to call us. If you want to send us a message on social media, we will answer that direct message. We want to help you out. We want to help our customers. We understand it's important. I will say one oddity about what we're doing July 1st is our call center will actually be down for 1 week as we shut one computer system down, because even our entire back office is being changed out. We upload the other one. We get our folks trained. We roll that out. And so that's the only thing. Just call back on the 8th. We'll answer everything. But if you do happen to call in, or customers or let's say citizens call you, go, I can't call KTA. What's going on? The message should tell you, hey, we'll be back open the 8th. So don't worry about it. We'll get you taken care of then. But we just have to shut one system down and load the other one up. But we're excited about getting that rolled out. But everything happens now. I'll say As for toll booths, you'll see a demo happen. So demolition will take place over the next 18 months. We'll start to take the toll booths out. So over 18 months, we'll still have a little bit of construction. Bear with us a little bit. You'll go slow through the plaza. We'll eventually have that re-engineered and striped and signed. So you'll be able to go a little quicker and smoother through those areas. So bear with us, but you don't have to stop right now. July 1st, you can keep going. And please tell your citizens to keep moving. Don't worry. If you don't have a K-tag, we'll get that bill to you in the mail. But otherwise, then eventually in 18 months, we'll have all the toll booths down. It'll be smooth sailing, and we're excited about that. And again, we have the cheapest toll rates in the country. And I'm going to say I'm biased and say we have maybe the best toll road in the country as well. We are compatible with Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, and now Colorado. So if you've got a K-tag, it's compatible with those states, and those tags are compatible with us. So that's a good thing. And we'll continue to work with other states. It's all technology. We're ready to go with our new system. Other states have to upgrade their technology, but we'll eventually get there. So again, I appreciate you allowing me to kind of crash your party and tell you the latest update. And we're excited to say we're all going to be out midnight. Our whole staff's going to be out ready to go and waving people through and stuff. You've probably seen a lot of commercials, a lot of media pushing the blitz out, getting things out. But again, I just wanted to come personally tell you it's happening because obviously you are close to us. And if you have any questions, I can answer those today as well. I appreciate your time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're not someone that likes to get online and go through that, you'll have representatives throughout Butler County over the coming weeks that can help someone get a K-tag if they need, correct?
That's a great point. So yes, we have got a whole team, a lot of summer help coming in, college kids, as well as our full-time staff out at many events, festivals, events, stopping at different locations, banks, shopping centers, signing people up a K-tag, helping you understand what's going on. And we also have a walk-in retail center at our facility at Exit 50 up here at our offices. So you can always come tell your folks, hey, you want to talk to a live person, come to our facility. You can talk to a live person and we'll answer all your questions. So I get it. A lot of people don't like to do things online, don't like the app, don't even like to call in. You can come in and face-to-face and talk to us.
So to Philip's point today, I was on the phone with KTA because I had some hard tags. I was switching from one vehicle to the next, and it was absolutely seamless. Just couldn't have been easier. Absolutely couldn't have been easier. I started online. I realized I was in over my head because I had the old sticker doodads I had on my motorcycle before they had them where they'd work. Absolutely seamless today. So kudos. It was very, very, very easy.
Good.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So there's not going to be a rate increase? Is that?
Actually, it'll be a rate decrease.
Okay.
So
My trip to El Dorado from Andover to El Dorado will be cheaper? Is that-
yes.
Okay.
Should be. Currently, right now, our average is 5.2 cents a mile for a typical passenger car. Now it's dropping to 4.8 cents a mile.
Anyone else? And it just so happens we brought up the 21st Street Logistics Park in the workshop last night. And I just want the governing body to know that Steve Hewitt's been very instrumental in moving us forward on that deal, and in fact supports us correct in that
Absolutely.
endeavor. So
Yeah, we're very supportive of that project. My board is very supportive. We think it'd be a great thing for Andover and for us as well. So we want to help.
all right. Anyone else? Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for your time.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you,
it.
sir.
Thank you.
All right. Consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes,
move
sir.
to approve consent agenda items 9.1 through 9.5 as presented.
Second. Homer.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 10, Redbud Trail Development, 10-1, public hearing and creation, that's that right? Creation ordinance. Redbud Trail Community Improvement District, and Jolene's going to talk to us about it.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. At your May 28th council meeting, you received a petition from Redbud Trail Properties requesting the development of a community improvement district within the city of Andover. The CID is a business strategy on part of the developer, a request to levy a 2% sales tax only on goods sold on the property identified as you see here on this map. It is at the corner of Andover Road and Harrison Street on the west side. The terms of the CID are 2% over 22 years. The proceeds from that sales tax levy will be reinvested back into the improvements. The first action here tonight is for you to open the public hearing, and upon the close of the public hearing, the action before you is the ordinance creating the Community Improvement District.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wait, we're doing a public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault. So at this time, I open the floor for, I'll learn to do this one day. Probably not. At this point, I'll open the floor for a public hearing. If anyone would like to address the governing body, feel free to do so at this time. No takers. Public forum's closed. All right. Now do I move on to 10-2?
No, sir, you do have a motion before you if anyone would
Mr.
choose to
Mayor?
make it.
Yes, sir.
I move to approve an ordinance creating the Red Bud Trail Community Improvement District in the city of Andover, Kansas, authorizing the levy of a community improvement district retailer's sales tax to be collected within the district.
Second.
Paul, correct? Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. All right, 10-2 Red Bud Trail Community Improvement District Developer Agreement. And again, Jolene will talk to us about this.
This agreement spells out the obligations between the developer and the city for the Community Improvement District. It has the items such as the start date beginning in January 1st, 2025, or after completion of the building. The length is 22 years. It lists the terms of reimbursement requests and how that process is to work. The reimbursement is limited to the budget items listed in this agreement. It also, per the terms of this agreement, the city will receive a 5% service fee to reimburse administrative costs related to managing the terms of this agreement over its 22 years. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to stand for them.
Anyone?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the developer's agreement with the Red Bud Trail Properties LLC regarding the Red Bud Trail Community Improvement District, CID, and authorize the mayor to sign.
Second, Hamilton.
Any further questions or discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I had some people from the community reach out. Just to be clear, this is only for essentially what the business property is going to be on. There is no overlying district or anything that the community is paying. So the financial obligation is essentially if you're shopping at this property. Is that correct? Fair?
That is correct.
Thank you, Joey.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Excuse me. 10-3, Red Bud Trail Edition Final Plans Unit Development Plan. And Les will speak to us on this.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this final planned unit development plan plat on its surface seems to be a very simple 4 corners, 1 lot plat. However, being a planned unit development, there are a lot of unique features to this property. It allows for instance, a 0 setback on Andover Road. It allows for reduced setback on Harrison Street to give it more of that old town buildings built closer to the sidewalk feel. It allows for a portion of the required parking to be on-street parking. You see in this drawing that that Harrison Street has something like 22 parking spaces that are a part of this development, but they are spaces on the street rather than on the property. Staff's excited about this. It fits in very well with the Red Bud Trail and that trail-oriented corridor that we talk about in our comprehensive plan, and revitalization of the old town area and maybe conversion of some properties there to a more commercial use. We're excited about this project. Your challenge tonight is just to accept the dedications on the final PUD plan that the Planning Commission has already approved.
So I do have a question, Mr. Mayor. Les, so when you say 0 setback, does that mean, I mean, if we wanted to put a sidewalk in, we couldn't because the building would be right there on the end of the road?
It's 0 setback from the property line.
Okay.
In this case, the property line is about 25 feet back of the street curb.
Okay.
We've already got a sidewalk there.
Right.
And if we ever wanted to go to a wider sidewalk, there's plenty of space
Okay.
there for
Yeah,
it.
because I'm looking at the picture here, and that red line kind of
Sure.
isn't great.
And if
Okay.
you, in the field, you were to look at it, you would see that because the project has dedicated Andover Road right-of-way to our minimum right-of-way standard, it's actually set back more than adjacent properties that were built many years ago when Andover Road was much narrower.
I just know that section does not have the traditional, was it 10-foot sidewalks that the rest of the.
Correct. We've got a gap there between the Red Bud Trail and 13th Street that we need to infill with our 10-foot bike ped path on the east side of this Andover Road.
So I'm not, and I asked Jody's council member, okay, God dang it, Jody, if she had to, we're not seeing this in our packet. Can we get this picture sent to us tomorrow? That's on the screen up here.
This is just a concept,
Right.
and we do have Phil Meyer from Baughman here. This was just meant to be illustrative at where it sits at this point in time. I don't know that this is the final one quite yet. Phil, could you speak to that? Thank you.
Good evening, Phil Meyer with Baughman Company, agent for the applicant. That is a concept that's on the screen in front of you. What we're bringing back to the site plan review committee will be similar to that. We will still have the building at the same location. The parking is pretty much the same. The one change, we're not sure about the drive-through on day one. So we're showing that drive-through as a phase 2. But our drive off of Harrison into the property and around the west and south side of the building is in the same location. So for 85% of that site plan is going to match. And we've
Okay.
got a little tweak in the drive-through that she wants to get it up and running and make sure it's going strong, and they can always add the drive-through in.
All right.
And then the parking in the street will be for the public too. I mean, you could park there and get on the Red Bud Trail and take off if you want. It serves the community.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And so just to kind of clarify that point, Phil, and then Les or Jolene. So on the outlined green sections, does the city own those parking spots, or how is that going to work?
Those are public improvements. They're on the street right of way. They have petitioned for those improvements, and we have a cost share in between the property owner and the city to improve Harrison Street and those parking spaces.
And that, I guess by this drawing, that's going to be a raised crosswalk there in between those spots on Harrison?
I don't know if it's going to be raised. It's definitely going to be marked and defined with markings, and we would work through that with your engineering and public works department as we put the plans for Harrison Street together.
And as you stated that the owners in favor of public parking and stuff. So we don't see any kind of future need to have signs at the end of the stalls that says for this business only or anything like that at this time, or, you will be towed at owner's expense kind of things.
The vision of the owners of the project are that it's going to be very closely tied to the Red Bud Trail, and that their customers will likely be Red Bud Trail users. So they're kind of one and the same person. They could have lunch in the cafe, park on the street, unload their bicycle and go for a ride and never have to move their car.
If I may, part of this, Homer, is because one of the concerns were that people would park and go riding on the Red Bud Trail and take up the parking spaces for the owner.
Mhm.
So we're trying.
We've had some good conversations with Jill and Ben about this, that we're probably going to need to step up our game as a city for parking for the Red Bud Trail users. We've already got half a dozen or more spaces over around the Red Bud Trail Park. As this project gets more popular, as the Red Bud Trail gets more popular, we're likely to need more parking input in that area.
That's great. I like it.
All right. Can I get a motion?
Sure, Mr. Mayor. I move to accept the petitions for paving. Are we the paving?
10.
Accept the dedications on the Red Bud Trail final PUD.
Second, Hamilton.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Pardon me. Thank you for coming, sir. 10-4, Red Bud Trail Development Petition Resolution of Advisability Developers Agreement, and Jolene will talk to us about this.
Mayor and council members, Red Bud Trail Development has submitted petitions for the paving improvements on Harrison Street for the Red Bud Trail Development. And they submitted these petitions. I'd like to draw your attention to, they utilize the city's special assessment policy, section 7.1B, which states that upon receipt of a valid petition from property owners of a benefit district, local substandard streets within the corporate limits of the city may be improved to a street section consisting of a minimum 6 inches of base stabilization with treated subgrade and a 24-foot wide driving surface, paved with a minimum of 6 inches of asphalt or concrete. 50% of the total project cost shall be assessed to the benefit district, and 50% will be charged to the city at large. Harrison Street has been identified as a substandard street. It is a chip seal street. It is on the short list for improvements from our Public Works and Streets Department. The developer's petition proposes 6 inches of concrete with curb and gutter from Andover Road to tie into Main Street. As submitted, the developer agrees to be responsible for 50% of the total project costs, and 50% would be the responsibility of the city at large. These funds would come from the Street Improvement Fund. I'd be happy to stand for any additional questions.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And just kind of pick, I mean, I love this idea and just wherever we can, help out. But this, I think it was like maybe 2 meetings ago that we talked about how the county was coming up Andover Road, and we did the share there because it was cheaper to go ahead and do that project, with this one. Has there been any thoughts? I mean, don't we own the road, I get Harrison East, if you will, to the street department? Do we own that road? I mean, should we do any kind of improvements with that road back to in the street department back that way, or am I not thinking about the right area? North side of the Red Bud Trail.
Located on more of a driveway.
South side.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure I would consider that a city street. I'm not even sure if you can legally utilize your sales tax dollars because it is, I believe, classified as a drive, not
Okay.
a street.
All right. There goes that idea.
But it's also, I would also say because it's a drive, it has very little traffic. I mean, maybe people have turned there in error, or they're making a delivery to the street where the school district shop. But otherwise, there probably shouldn't be too many vehicles back.
The reason I say that is because I see people all the time parked on that driveway that are utilizing the Red Bud Trail. So piggybacking what Jill and Ben were talking about, as far as this on the west side of Andover Road, if our driveway maybe had some parking on there, expanded that a little bit. I don't know. I just see this as a great thing for the Red Bud Trail, great thing for the community. So if it would lessen our load in the future, but if it's a driveway and we don't want to get into it, that's fine.
We've had those discussions, right, in reference to the north side. It is something that we can use in the future if we need to, correct?
Right. We have remnants of Red Bud Trail right of way within several hundred feet to the west on Andover Road that we could utilize for trail parking as we have the need.
Okay. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the petitions for paving improvements, approve the developers agreement, and adopt, God bless you, and adopt the developers agreement and adopt let me just start over.
Sorry about that.
I move to accept the positions for paving improvements, approve the developers agreement, and adopt a resolution of advisability related to the Red Bud Trail development.
Second, O'Katie's.
The mayor's having serious issues this evening. I apologize. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Red Bud Trail Development Work Ordinance. And, I'm sorry, Jolene will talk to us about that.
Mayor and council, this is your final item on the Red Bud Trail development. Upon acceptance of the petitions for improvements and the adoption of a resolution of advisability, the governing body must consider the adoption of an ordinance which authorize the actual construction of the paving improvements. Referred to as a work ordinance, they accomplish the following: find a determinant necessary to authorize the construction of the improvements, provide for the payment of the cost of the improvements, and authorize and provide for the issuance of temporary notes as applicable. As discussed in our earlier item, this developers agreement outlines the benefit district cost as well as the city at large's cost. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to stand for it.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt an ordinance authorizing the construction of the certain internal improvements related to the Red Bud Trail development.
Second, anyone?
Second.
Any further questions or discussion?
I do have one question I just thought about. Jolene or Les or anybody, Derek, can they use the sales tax, the extra 2% to pay for this?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Good question. Anyone else?
Just a comment. I do like the summary of just what everything outlined here, what the developer work ordinance outlines. I like that piece.
All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. MABCD agreement for on-call services, 11-1. And Jolene, excuse me, Jolene will speak to us about this evening. Okay.
Mayor and council, due to the vacancy of our chief building inspector, we have an agreement here before you tonight for plan review and inspection services on an as-needed basis with the Metropolitan Area Building and Construction Department, also known as MABCD. Last night, you heard from Director Chris Labrum, and he gave you an overview of his department and kind of the differences in our codes. I did want to follow up with you tonight and just let you know that under this interim agreement, that inspectors will inspect to our current codes. The discussion last night was for potential future code changes. In terms of the agreement, the payment for services are outlined in terms of a per inspection type basis. We anticipate utilizing these for some of our more complex projects and all of our plan reviews while we research our different options that are available to us to be able to recommend to you in the future for the long-term operations of this department. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mr. Mayor, I do have one question. So it costs $75 cost the city $75 for them to come out and do a residential site per se. How much does it cost? How much do we charge the resident, the home builder or how much do we charge them? Do we charge to cover that?
The fee for building permits wouldn't change.
Okay.
This $75 per inspection would just come out of the community development budget, that revenue that we've taken for building permits.
Okay.
No change.
I guess
in the
my question
outward
is, are we
appearance.
going in the red or the black? I mean, are we going to stay in the black or are we going in the red?
We stay positive.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move we approve the agreement with the MABC Department for Plan Review Inspection Services on an as-needed basis.
Second.
O'Kadis.
We'll do Jody. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Excuse me, all. Andover Crossing quit claim acceptance. Les will talk to us about that.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this may be new to some of the newer members on the council, but many have seen this before. This exhibit shows in the pink shade a parcel of land that Atwood's Distributing dedicated to the city for street purposes. Through the negotiations with the Emprise Bank that's adjacent to the west, we've come to some negotiation for partial use of that property for other than street purposes. So in order to do that, we had to get a clear title to that land, not limited to just street purposes. Again, Mr. Atwood was very accommodating and signed this quit claim, and we would recommend that you accept the quit claim to allow us to move on in our negotiations with others.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move we accept the quick claim deed from Atwood's Distributing LP for a portion of the Lot 5, Block 1 of Andover Crossing Edition. And I'd like to thank Les for all the hard work on this.
Second, Mike.
Mike? Okay. All right. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 13-1, Planning Commission appointment, Dan Colson. And this is a mayoral appointment. Anyone?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the mayoral appointment of Dan Colson to the Planning Commission to fill the open unexpired term until January 2026.
Second, Hamilton.
All right. I want to thank Les for meeting with us to give me guidance on interviewing Mr. Colson. It turned out very well for us, I think. All in favor, all in favor,
Discussion.
all in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0.
Looks like he has some experience, so that'll be nice. Bringing that to planning and zoning from Emporia, Kansas.
Yeah, it went very well.
So for Mike and the disc golf course, maybe a bigger one coming to Andover, huh?
Mr. Mayor,
If I remember right, he's the educator as well. Yes, sir.
I move we recess into executive session for discussion related to acquisition of real estate per KSA 75-4139B6. Session include governing body, city attorney, and associate city administrator, assistant city administrator, and director of community development, and resume in session at 8:20.
Councilman Barrett, I think you meant to say 4319.
Oh, 4319B6.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. 0.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move we approve the real estate purchase agreement between the city and 308 West Highway 54 LLC and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
Can I get a second?
Second, Wimmer.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
I move we approve the settlement agreement between the city, Brahms Incorporated, and Retail Buildings Incorporated with such adjustments as approved by the mayor in consultation with the city attorney and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I move that we approve the lease agreement with Brahms Incorporated with such adjustments as approved by the mayor in consultation with the city attorney and authorize the mayor to execute the agreement on behalf of the city.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. That it?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start with member items. Mr. Berry, would you like to go?
I do not have any tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, though.
I do not have any either.
Have a safe 4th out there. I'm sure Chief Russell wants you to be safe with fireworks, but at the same time, he's a fireman and that's what he does, puts fires out. So have a good 4th.
I don't have anything tonight.
None tonight. Nothing from me.
All right. Man, it's exciting time for our little big city, right? Or is it big little city? Big little city. So a lot of things going on. Check AndoverKS.com for all the neat stuff. And there's something exciting going on that has been kind of ongoing for years, but the Space Discovery Institute will be opening up in August. And it is really something special for the children in the town. It's a not-for-profit and it was free to the public. And it's getting real traction and gonna be some cool things going on. So stay tuned. It's a good time to be living in the city of Andover. We owe the staff and all the folks involved for everything that's moving forward because it was long before us that got us here. So thank y'all.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
13th Street Sports Park is actually having baseball games, I believe started yesterday or Monday night. Yeah, that was yesterday. Sorry. So that was pretty
It's been
cool
a long
too.
week.
It is. It's just exciting times. It really is. So stay tuned. All right.
Mr. Mayor, may I comment about the 13th Street Sports Park? I would like to point out that the park is not open to the public for general park use. It is only open for the ball games attendees and their participants and spectators. We anticipate the full park opening later, but the contractor has indulged us and allowed us to get it open to get the games played at the second half of the season.
Appreciate those guys doing that, Rick. So pass on our sentiments that we love that. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to recess to Saturday, June 29th, 2024 at 9 a.m. for the 2025 budget retreat at City Hall located at 1609 East Central Avenue, Andover.
Second, OKDs.
Do we need to vote on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. See y'all Saturday. Can't hardly wait.
Can't hardly wait.
What's Saturday?